What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dream a Little, the podcast that's all about helping you feel confident about your ABDL side so that you can enjoy it with that special person in your life. I'm your host, Lo, and you can connect with me on social media, on Twitter at Daddy I Want This. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had a great time getting to know our guest, Kay, today. Kay is an asexual little who is actually new to the community. Unlike many of the other guests on the show, she's not always known that she was into ABDL or DDLG. It's a recent development. So she's going to share how she was able to open up to her husband about her little side and how their relationship has evolved since then. By the way, if you didn't already know, my partner TK and I have a brand new podcast series. It's called Dream a Little Bigger, where we discuss more personal aspects of our ABDL dynamic and how we balance it with the real life. We'll be releasing a new episode every single week and taking your request as well. This podcast is exclusively available on Patreon, and you can get instant access for $5 per month. There are other cool perks as well that you can check out at patreon.com/dreamalittle. That's patreon.com/dreamalittle. As always, I'm going to link to that in the show notes, along with any other links I mention. You can find everything I mention at thelittlelounge.com/121. That's thelittlelounge.com/121. All right, I won't make you wait any longer. Let's just get started. Hey, Kay, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on Dream a Little.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, what do you identify as within the ABDL community?
I do identify as a little. I love all things Disney. And I feel like me and my friends have probably always been a bit on the immature side, which, made it hard to fit in sometimes growing up, but we are still friends. We have been friends since we were 10. We are actually still friends. So that's a long friendship. So I think that I have experimented with other bits of the acronym, and I think that's just the one that probably fits me the best.
Okay, cool. And I know a lot of people, don't identify with a particular age or anything like that, but are you leaning more towards like the little side or the middle side, do you think?
I think I'm probably hovering right between little and middle.
Okay, cool.
So something like that. And my ability to actively explore this I haven't been at this long, so I haven't had a lot of time to actively explore these things and try different things out, just a little bit here and there. A little.
Right. A little. Dun dun. Have you always had these desires, do you think, then, since you were little? Is it just this immaturity thing that came up when you were young? Or did you, are you into diapers or anything like that?
I really like the idea of them. And I feel like that may actually feed into the fact that I'm asexual, and I know there are a lot of asexual littles because there's sort of this physical barrier between literally the sex organs and the other person.
Right.
So, and that I think those two things do go together. When I've actually tried them myself, I kind of expected like this huge revelation when I tried it, and just, I don't know, angels would sing or something. And for me, that did not happen. So probably my expectations were ridiculous anyway. But I find them to be a little bit warm. It was much warmer than I was expecting. And I really like the idea. And I feel like that is also, for me, part of my asexuality, because I identify as autocorasexual. And that means that there's a gap in my brain between what gets my motor running and what I physically want to do. So I like to imagine a lot of things in my head, and I like to look at porn. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to do what I'm looking at. So it's been a balance for me to figure out, okay, is this something that I do want to just remain in my head, or is it something that I want to try physically with my husband? And I'm still kind of figuring out the answers to those questions. And I feel like for me, in my case, personally, only speaking for me, that diapers probably, I think, is going to be more in my head. I might give them another try again later. I'm open to that. But at the moment, I think I more enjoy watching other people enjoy them.
Yeah, I totally get that. And it's kind of something I haven't really touched on a lot on this show, which is there are a lot of things I can think of as well that maybe I've seen videos of or pictures of, and the concept seems sexy, but it's one of those things that's better left in a fantasy. And for it sounds like diapers are that for you.
I think so. Like I said, I'm open to revisiting it and see maybe I will feel differently later. But right now, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And I have a girlfriend actually who has that feeling with, like in her mind, she would love to do a threesome with like her partner and someone else. But she's like, I could never do that. I'm way too jealous as a person. Like it's something she fantasizes about, but she would never actually act upon it or actually enjoy it probably. So I
Right.
think we all have those different like things in our head that seem appealing, but maybe like we try it out and it's not exactly what we thought. But that's why it's so great to be human and to have this imagination and, we can think whatever we want.
Right. I learned a long time from Dr. Ruth, actually, that you owe no one the contents of what is in your head when you're thinking about sexy times.
Oh, thank God.
That can be just for you. You don't have to share that with anybody.
Absolutely. And sometimes you do want to share certain things, but
yes,
definitely there's even some things I haven't told my fiance TK because, I mean, they're pretty out there.
Right.
Oh. Do you have a partner, and are they on board with the whole little aspect of yourself?
I am married to my husband, and we have been married for 10 years. And I came out of the toy box, as we put it, this summer.
Wow! Oh my gosh, that is a long time to go without mentioning anything.
Well, so a question that I don't think we touched on is how long have I been into this? For me, it's only been since 2012. This has not been a lifelong thing for me because I know for lots of you it is, but for me, it actually wasn't. It was something that I was exposed to in 2012 through fan fiction that was in the Doctor Who fandom, and I didn't run away screaming. I just kind of filed it away in the back of my head. And then I actually saw that infamous episode of CSI.
Oh, no.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. I get that for a lot of people, that episode did not paint this kink in a flattering light at all. But for me, I wasn't instantly like, ooh, I want to do that. But something about it really struck me and stuck with me. And again, I filed it in the back of my brain. And then when I started exploring more porn on Tumblr, then I got into the adjacent kink of omarashi,
right.
pants wedding. And then I fell into this and I was like, oh, and like, then I was really, really into it. So that was the progression for me. So that's another thing, because I know that other people like you who give advice often advise couples getting into relationships, or especially if they're going to get married, don't keep this one from your partner. This is one that you should probably disclose. Like, don't, especially if it's something you actively want to engage in, don't keep this one a secret because it can be hard for people to understand. And in my case, it was too late. I was already married. So,
do you think it made it a little bit easier that it was something new and fun that you wanted to try instead of it being like something you felt ashamed about for your whole life? You know what I mean? Did it make it a little bit easier because it's more like, this is something I'm interested in. Maybe we could try it together type thing?
That's a really interesting question. I think in my case, it did not make it easier,
really?
But I can see how it would. But in those, how many years is that? 6 years. I definitely did go through those same kind of feelings of shame and guilt and just feeling like it was wrong and he was never going to accept it. So I did actually, in that time frame, go through all that stuff.
Wow. Okay. So can you give me a little backstory about your husband? Does he have any inkling that you or hint that you would be into this at all?
Yes. And so I actually did follow your advice of revealing things slowly and testing things out. And I have to admit that I was skeptical because I honestly thought maybe you just got lucky the second time around, but
Yes.
I take it back because your advice was solid.
That makes me happy to hear.
So, yeah, I mean, I've always had stuffed animals. I've always been into Disney. So this did not come as a complete shock to him. So that was good. But I did do all the little tests that you suggested, dropping little things here and there. Two that seemed to put him off. One was coloring, which I thought was so weird. I'm like, there's so
all
many
the things?
Right? There's so many adult coloring books. That's the one that's throwing you off? Really? Anyway, the other was actually one that happened accidentally. When we were at Disney World, we passed by, one of those kiosks they have that sell stuffed animals, and I accidentally used the word stuffy. And for some reason, that seemed, and he has no memory of this, by the way, that seemed to tweak him. And he was just like, stuffy, you've never said the word stuffy. And went and kept mentioning it for another 15 minutes. And that's when I think my ship is sunk. This is never going to happen. He's never going to accept this ever. That's it. I'm done. But I didn't give up. And I kept just gently testing the waters and prodding. And then what pushed it over the edge, I had made a tumbler like you suggested, and I kept it really clean, just focused on the little stuff and the cute stuff and spanking, and kept the diapers out of it. Actually, still haven't explicitly told him about diapers yet, but since I don't really want to engage in it, I haven't really seen the need to.
Right.
So anyway, what pushed it over the edge was that we were on vacation, and I have always wanted, do you know what a squishable is?
Are those the little squishy things that you squish and then the ball pops out the side of them?
No, not like that. These are
I have no idea what it is.
These are big stuffed animals about the size of a beach ball, a little bit bigger, and they're really soft, and they all look round, and they're very squishable. You can just hug it to you and squish it. And I've seen them especially at conventions. We were at Comic-Con. I've seen them for years, and I've always wanted one. And we were there on the last day of the convention, and they were having a sale, because vendors trying to get rid of stuff.
Of course.
And they had a corgi one. So I'm just like, oh, I want it so much. So I, gave my best puppy eyes, and he got it for me. And then after that, we drove to our next destination on our road trip. And while we were in the hotel room, I was undressed, and I was just hugging the squishable and playing with it, squishing it on the bed. And the look on his face watching me do this, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He likes this. And I checked in with him that he did indeed enjoy what he was seeing. And he
Aww.
said that he did. And I was like, oh, if there was ever a time, this is it. So the next day we had sex in the morning. And then I basically flung my iPad at him, and because I had let him know that there was a kink that I wasn't ready to disclose to him. And then I basically flung my iPad at him and ran to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You're like, bye. Okay, so what was his reaction?
His reaction was very positive, because our sex life can be a little bit complicated given my asexuality, and finding something new for us to try together to improve things, I knew was probably going to be a super safe bet with him. So he had a very positive reaction, and also, as I mentioned before, was not totally surprised.
Yeah.
With all my Disney princess stuff and things like that, it was not a complete shock. And there were things we'd done before where he'd been in a slightly dominant role. So it all kind of fit for us. And immediately he started using things in conversation, just throwing it in there, little words or looks and comments and things like that. And I was instantly just so happy. I'm like, why did I wait this long? Like, this is great.
It sounds like it kind of came naturally to him.
Yes. Yes, I would say so.
Do you think that plays into the fact that you are both parents and he has been in that role of caregiver in his real life, and maybe it kind of it makes it a little bit easier to treat you a certain way?
That's a tricky question, because I'm very much that if something is reminding me too much of our child, like, I draw the line there, because I don't want to cross the streams there.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree.
Right. So I think it's actually just more his personality in general. I think that he's always been really great with people and really great with kids. Like, he was a kid's ski instructor. So I think it just comes to him naturally. I wouldn't say that necessarily becoming a parent changed that. I think that's always been who he is.
I agree with you as well, because my partner grew up, the oldest child of all the siblings, and it's just part of his personality to be a caregiver and take care of other people and make sure everyone's comfortable. And, obviously he's not a parent except for to our two birds. So it's very different. But I think that some people it just comes more naturally than others. But that's great that he just seemed to really adjust to the role very, very easily. And really, it sounds like he took it well.
Yes, it went very, very well.
So how have things evolved since then?
Now I get to have those little comments and things through our daily life. We also use a couples messaging app, so we can do little comments like that to each other back and forth and not have to worry about it,
accidentally
like a coworker or
someone.
Something.
Oh my gosh, that is genius. Do you use like what's one of them?
Couple is the one that we use.
Couple, okay. Oh my gosh, that is so smart. I get so much anxiety. We got group chats going on with other people, and I'm just like, one wrong slip.
Right. And the other reason we specifically do that is that it allows you to send pictures as well, because that was my thing. I like to send him pictures during his work day, and I don't want them showing up in my camera roll, because my son uses my phone all the time.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart.
Right. So this keeps it out of there, and I can still send him pictures.
Awesome. Oh my God. I'm learning so much from this. I'm writing that down right now.
So, yeah. So now I get I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's like we added this seasoning to our life, that he can use more of these little pet names for me or tease me about little things. Then he took a big leap at Christmas. I was not expecting this at all. He got me a onesie.
Oh my gosh. Really?
And I nearly died. Like, I turned bright red and just didn't even know what to say, because I didn't think he was going to do that or take it that further step, and he totally did. So I was flabbergasted, honestly. He was saying he wished he had filmed my reaction.
Oh, that is so sweet. I love that. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Did he get you one that you had reblogged or something, or did he pick it out just on his own?
He picked it out on his own. And I know I think you might even own it. It's the one from Little for Big that has all the hearts on it with like the heart-shaped buttons.
With the ruffles on the back?
Yep.
Yeah, that one is so cute. I love it.
Yes. I suppose I should have figured it out, because he did measure me very thoroughly. And he told me he was getting me something, but I thought he was getting me footy pajamas, because those are very popular right now. Right. Regular people are wearing them. So I thought that's what he was going for, and I got this instead. And my mind was blown.
That is so sweet. It sounds like you guys are great together, honestly, and you're really lucky to have someone who is so accepting, and not only so accepting, but willing to go out of their way to take it a step further on their own. Like, there's nothing better than that,
Yeah, very true.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So that's where we're at, and then we will incorporate a little bit of role play into our sex life, just kind of taking it easy right now. And again, I'll find where that line is between what I want in real life and what I want to remain in my head.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And that's the thing too, is, you don't need to rush into trying everything you want to do. I mean, you guys are married, your relationship's going to last a long time, and you got to spread things out, keep things interesting that way. Take it nice and slow.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, Kay, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I had so much fun getting to know you.
You're welcome. I had a great time.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.